Attitude Television Show, Inc. is a registered nonprofit organization in the U.S. Virgin Islands with a mission to provide aid and support for registered clients experiencing life challenges during a medical crisis and the recovery process. We are in the process of acquiring our 501c3 status. Our facility provides a safe and comfortable environment with a variety of activities to keep our clients stimulated and engaged. Registered clients, caregivers, family, and business owners will receive first preference from our available services at our facility. To schedule an appointment, call 340-773-6464 or 340-643-1583. Proof of COVID vaccination mandatory. Log on to newattitudetv.com for more details.
Hi everyone, you're watching New Attitude. I'm your host, Anastasia Rivers. Adansky is not here as yet, so he'll be back here in a little bit. But meantime, we have our guests. We have Camille Paul and John Gums. Both of them will be helping us to our journey to healthier eating habits. Not a diet, but healthier eating habits. So when people hear about healthy, they think about diet, but Camille and John will explain what their role is. And before we start, Camille, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Good evening. So my name is Camille Paul. I am a physician assistant on the island of St. Croix. Right now I work with Dr. Gallabert. He's a cardiologist, so I do primarily cardiology, and then I also work at Frederiksted Healthcare, so I do some primary care. And I'm also in the process of completing a fellowship that's sponsored by the PA Foundation, and it's focused on nutrition education.
Good. And John?
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is John Gums. I work at the Governor F. Wang Louis Hospital as the food production manager in the nutrition services department. I have my bachelor's in food service management and nutrition, my master's in business administration and HR with public relations, and also I'm starting the journey on my PhD in public health.
Perfect. Okay, I must tell you that Camille she hears this all the time. This is Dr. James' granddaughter. Dr. James is a well-known doctor, and she hears a lot of story about him. He goes on, and he's special to me. He was my doctor when I was a child, and he delivered my daughter, my first child, when I was very young. And John is also, he's a cousin of mine, and by the Anguilla connection, Gums. And when John was here during the summer from college, he helped me serve romantic dinner for two at the pier. You remember that, John? And he did a fantastic job lighting up the candles to keep away the bugs and serving lobster and steak. So it was a nice experience. And they both bowl against me in the bowling alley. So we have a good connection here. And when I found out what they're doing, I said, let me try to get them to come and help me, and they didn't hesitate. So I want you to explain to them your role and both roll together what you'll be doing.
Go ahead, Camille.
Oh, me starting? You just mean in general as a PA? Like
No, with the healthier eating. Like for instance, earlier you were all talking about diabetes, and I said that's what I want to talk about. And for people that have diabetes and what to avoid and what food has a lot of sugar, and also what you recommend, especially you being working with Dr. Galabi and the cardiacs, that in itself is connected, diabetes and connected.
So, yeah. So my fellowship, I can tell you a little bit about my fellowship because that's really propelled a lot of the nutrition education that I give. So the fellowship itself is focused on healthy aging in general, and then we also have a focus on diabetes and pre-diabetes, and then the last section is on recovering after surgery and also preparing for surgery in terms of nutrition, which people don't really consider. So the biggest portion that I've used, especially here in the Virgin Islands, is the diabetes portion. So I see patients on a regular basis who have chronic diseases, who have diabetes, cardiovascular disease, high blood pressure, and I've been pretty much trying to use this education I've received in nutrition to include it in their treatment plan. So not only, exercise and medications, and this is what you should and shouldn't be doing, but also this is what you should eat and what you shouldn't be eating. So I've been trying to incorporate that nutrition information and target it towards people's lifestyle and their diseases and, what they may be battling with.
Well, that would work perfectly for our workshop. We have a workshop for the registered clients that is recovering from a medical crisis or recovery process. So with John, he could probably tell them about, we have a kitchen, we could have you on our show, in the cooking show, and then you could talk about the different food and what you recommend.
So when you talk about in relations to healthier eating, it's more focused on not dieting, it's also a lifestyle. So healthy eating is a lifestyle. It's based on your choices. So you can make wise choices. It doesn't have to necessarily just be, I'm gonna eat smaller portions. It's how often you eat and what you eat. So for example, for individuals who are diabetic, it's recommended that you eat frequently. So basically looking at 3 meals a day and 3 snacks. So it'll be breakfast, a snack, lunch, a snack, dinner, and then a small snack. And that'll enable your body to burn calories more effective and keep your sugar level more manageable.
So if you don't eat those snacks in between, what will happen?
It can cause your sugar level to go up or go down. So there are some people who just don't eat breakfast, and I'm guilty of that because I'm so rushing for work and trying to get ready that I miss breakfast. And it's a myth also that some people may say that breakfast is the most valuable meal of the day, but it depends on the individual as well. So say, for example, if you ate something the night before and your body may still be processing that. So you may not necessarily need to eat breakfast, but also it's a good thing to maybe just drink some hot tea. That would alleviate your...
As long as I drink hot tea, I'm good to go. But I have to eat my breakfast if I want to take my medication, because some of the medications say take with meals.
Yeah.
So I don't even try not to take it without meals. So I make myself have breakfast, even if it's a hot tea and a little cereal or something like that.
And that's really important for people who have diabetes, because some of the medications, you should take them with meals, because if you don't, your sugar could drop drastically if you haven't had that meal.
Right.
So it's pretty important to, stick to the instructions that are on there.
It can get to a point if you are following a good lifestyle or a meal plan, you can actually get to the point where you may not even need medication. So it's very critical that when you look at your nutrition and what you eat and what you buy in the store, that it's the correct things. And a lot of people think, beyond just having diabetes, but weight loss, that, let me have low fat. It doesn't necessarily mean because it says low fat, it's healthy for you. Some of those items are actually even higher in sodium.
So then you have to read the ingredients.
Correct.
So what's in the ingredients that you want to avoid? Like, for instance, I overheard you talk about Ensure. And
so in a lot of supplements and nutriments, they're high in sugar. So items that are high in sugar, that's pretty much considered a carbohydrates. So, and Camille can go more into detail with the medical part of that. But carbohydrates turns into, sugar turns into carbohydrates, and that's what causes your sugar to spike when you're diabetic, and that's why you need insulin and whatnot.
Yeah, so part of what I've been doing with the fellowship, some of the education I received was on nutrition fact labels. So I've been going through how to read the labels with patients, And anyone that's interested, because my fellowship is really open to anyone in the community, but I've been going through reading the labels and having patients actually understand how to read those labels. Because the labels were actually updated in, I believe, 2016. So
Okay.
now, by 2021, I think July of 2021, all of the companies were required to update their labels. So everything you see right now should be an updated label. So they've actually broken down the sugar section. That's one of the updates. So you not only see the total amount of sugars that's in that item, but you see the added sugars. And that's
Very
important
good.
because, you know, some foods naturally have sugars that are part of it. If you have
Even
something,
fruits.
yeah, there's natural sugars. So if you buy a bag of dried fruit, for example, you want to look at that label to see how much added sugar is in there, because they may add sugar in the process of, you know, producing that dried fruit, for example. So I talk about, you know, looking at the labels, and then carbohydrates, like John mentioned, because all of those carbohydrates end up being converted to sugar, you know, in your body. So people think, oh, you know, I have diabetes, I need to avoid sugars, and they don't think about the rice and the pasta and the bread.
Rice. They say rice is just as bad as sugar.
Yeah, so your body converts it and it uses it for energy, so it becomes sugar. Yeah.
My plate has to have rice in it, but I don't eat a lot of rice. Just have to have a little bit of
a
rice.
little bit, yeah. And
So to go with whatever it is I'm eating, because if I have too much rice, I'm always leaving it back anyway.
yeah, and that's culturally, yeah, I was gonna say that's a big thing, and a struggle I've had with people is, you know, culturally our plate doesn't look like what it should look like in terms of, you know, the nutrients that you want and the portion sizes. So the USDA has My Plate.
My Plate.
Yeah, and a lot of people have seen it before, but it shows you, you know, half of your plate should really be non-starchy vegetables.
Correct.
And then a quarter of your plate should be those grains. But we know in a VI, if you go out and you buy a plate of food,
Half of
is the starch.
Macaroni
and, you know, John
and
can
cheese,
tell you about that.
stuffing.
Yeah.
New Attitude Television Show, Inc. is a registered nonprofit organization in the U.S. Virgin Islands with a mission to provide aid and support for registered clients experiencing life challenges during a medical crisis and the recovery process. We are in the process of acquiring our 501c3 status. Our facility provides a safe and comfortable environment with a variety of activities to keep our clients stimulated and engaged. Registered clients, caregivers, family, and business owners will receive first preference from our available services at our facility. To schedule an appointment, call 340-773-6464 or 340-643-1583. Proof of COVID vaccination mandatory. Log on to newattitudetv.com for more details.
Cut down on the rice and whatever meat they have, and make sure if you ill, depends on, you have to make sure your meat is cooked thoroughly. That's what I understand. That's why I make sure.
Yeah, yeah. And I try to tell people, you know, because I'm Krujan, I grew up here, I was raised here, and I love our food. And I try not to tell people, oh, you know, you can't eat this anymore.
No.
I try to tell people, you know, watch your portion
portion.
sizes, decrease this, decrease that, you know, or maybe even to some extent increase certain things. Because there are, like you said, there are things in our diet that are healthy and that you
Yes.
can have more of.
Like the callaloo.
So there's something
Grains.
that I want to touch on, because it's a thing that's very popular here, and especially within the Caribbean. It's people who are vegetarians.
Okay.
And with vegetarians, and especially in relations to being diabetic, they don't realize that when you eat certain legumes and beans, those are actually starches as well.
Oh, really?
So that can also affect your sugar level. So that's something that you have to be also cautious of as well. In addition, when you eat like veggie burgers and stuff like that, those are high in sodium, really high in sodium. So that's why it's critical to, once again, what Camille just said, it's to look at your nutritional fact label.
Okay.
And the best way to look at it is when the list of ingredients are there, the first ingredient is what's most in that product.
Yeah.
So as you go down the list, you see how much they have of these things. Even if you can differentiate the numbers, if you could just look at the names, that's what's being listed, you could be like, oh, if salt is like the fourth on that list,
So,
you know you should not be eating
question.
that.
Sorry to cut you off.
No, you're fine.
If as a vegetarian, what food do you recommend that they consume to watch it that would not increase the starch or the sodium or the sugar? What you talk about what they shouldn't eat, about what can they eat? Because I mean,
So I think.
what about tofu and all that?
No, you can eat tofu, you can eat those things. And even now they have, those vegetarian substitute, which are vegan products, which are like the Impossible Burgers and stuff like that are plant-based. But also those items are also high in fillers and preservatives. But you can eat those, it's just you eat it in moderation. And that's the key thing in healthy eating, is eating any item in moderation. And even like for me, like I went through a process of losing weight. And
You sure did.
I think it's something that I've learned in the process of losing weight and changing the way that I eat, is you don't have to completely change your diet. You change a portion of it, and one thing that I always told myself, you always have one day out of the whole entire week to cheat.
Of course, because you're going to be depressed if you just keep on. People that diet and don't at least do a little cheating, make themselves feel good, then what going to happen? To be in bad mood and depressed when you're on that diet. I know that.
So also too, when you're on this journey, it's very important that you look at how you lose the weight. You know, some people want to lose the weight really, really fast. And yeah, that might look good, but you're more liable to put on the weight back quicker and even more than what you lost. So the average that you're supposed to probably lose a month is 1 pound per month.
Okay.
So you can keep it off over the extended period of time.
What do y'all feel about those shakes? I mean, you got business out there. You don't want to knock the business, but at least being realistic, you got some shake that a supplement and protein shake, or this shake or the other shake. I tried it before. I lost the weight and I put back on.
Yeah, so you have to be very wary of, the shakes and the fad diets, because you may be able to lose, it may be effective and you may be able to lose that weight very quickly, but is it sustainable, and is it something that you can maintain over the long term? Because a lot of them are not sustainable. So, sometimes it's better to consider them maybe as a meal replacement and not necessarily to take over your entire diet.
Okay.
Maybe, one meal I'll have this shake, but then another meal I'll still have, my vegetables, my grain, and, don't necessarily let it replace everything that you're eating.
Okay.
Yeah.
So in reference to when Camille talked about the fat diets, I know one of the major fat diets is the keto,
Yeah.
the keto diet, where it's like really high in fat and stuff like that. And over time, yes, you may lose the weight, but you're also doing irreparable damage to your body, because that's going to end up causing cardiac issues over time.
Yeah.
So yes, you may lose 60 pounds.
That makes sense.
60 pounds in 4 months. But down the road, what is that going to do to your body in itself?
And then,
clog the arteries and stuff like that.
You mentioned like losing weight quickly and the right amount of weight to lose. I tell people, we talk about SMART goals. I don't know, you've probably heard about that at some point, but you have to set goals that are specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and then time-based. So someone may say, okay, I want to lose 40 pounds, and then they say, okay, I'm going to try to lose 10 pounds per week. The first, you exercise, you change your diet, the first week goes by, you lose 5 pounds. You keep going, the second week goes by, maybe you lose 10 pounds. Now you're saying to yourself, well, my goal is 10 pounds per week and I haven't reached that goal yet. And you start to become unmotivated, and that's because that goal was not realistic to begin with.
I could go with the 1 pound.
Yeah, exactly. So you need to set something that's realistic, 1 to 2 pounds per week.
So, and even with that being said, when you exercise, the first time when you actually start exercising, the first set of maybe first month or two, and you lose an extremely large amount of weight, typically that is water weight. It's not actual weight. It's more water weight than fat. And then some people may say, oh, well, I'm not really losing weight. So you got to look at what type of exercises you're doing, because you may technically be burning fat, but you're actually at the same time building muscle.
Yeah.
Okay. And then the muscles is heavier.
No,
It's almost the same.
Same.
Yeah,
Same,
yeah.
okay.
People always say that, and
I
it's
used to
about
think-
the
I used to
same.
think-
Yeah.
okay.
It's a slight difference. Yeah.
All right.
And then, when it comes to exercise too, I tell people, some people will just start to do a whole lot of cardio or aerobic exercise, but you also have to make sure you do that strength training exercise so that you're gaining muscle and
muscles.
building muscle as well. Because the cardio is for your heart and your lungs, but the strength training is for your bones and your muscles.
Right.
Because as we're aging, we're losing bone density, we're losing muscle mass if we're not, active all the time. So you want to make sure you do both types of exercises and then spread it out. So the recommendation now is 150 minutes of exercise per week. So you can, spread that out over the week
Okay.
as best as you can, maybe 25 minutes per
Why
day.
you smiling
maybe
at?
A little bit more.
Well, you
But-
see
The reason why I'm smiling is because
and bowling in exercise.
no. Well, it is exercise.
Put a hand, the rest of one hand.
But no, it actually it does cardio for
Yeah,
your
yeah.
stomach and,
Oh.
and your knees and your thighs. But the reason I'm smiling is because I just thought about while I'm at work, and on an average for me at work, I do at least almost 20,000 steps
Oh.
just at work. So it's not, for me, exercise is kind of like when I leave work, I'm just too exhausted to exercise, and I do want to go exercise, but it's just so hard. And that is something that
you can
we also
motivate
have to,
yourself.
you also have to look at too, because so we have many really busy lives. So
Yeah.
even when you get up in the morning, sometimes you can probably do 50 crunches or 10 push-ups or a couple sit-ups, and that can actually activate your body to burn fat.
Good.
And a quick tip is drink a glass of water as you wake up. It starts your metabolism.
Yes.
It jumpstarts your metabolism.
Okay. Now I want to thank both of you for being here, and I know we're looking to partner together. Hopefully that if time permits, that you could come here and schedule you to fit your busy schedule to do a little presentation to some of our registered clients. We're going to have like a workshop for different agencies that I will focus it on health, because most of the people that the clients that come here went through a medical crisis, and they're processing or going through the medical process of that medical crisis. So what we're going to do is have them come in and sit down and listen to your presentation, and I would like both of you to come together as a team. And even if we're in the cooking show, you could, and he's showing certain things, you could say, well, this is what the nutrition for this that he's preparing. Or we're gonna have somebody, I hope to have your sister on, Sydney. She's always on. I look at how she did a good job with planting these different herbs and what have you. So that's why we have a part in the show from our kitchen, from our garden to our kitchen. So wherever we grow in the garden as therapy, the client's gonna be planting as therapy. They would have it in the ingredients. So I would like to have Camille, Sydney on one time. She's fantastic, but she's always busy.
Yeah.
So that's what I also too I wanted to I didn't get to really speak about that, but it's the territory in itself has done so many different initiatives when it comes to school lunch, even as well as the hospital, and even trying to promote natural products from our island. So you have farm to hospital and farm to school.
Yes.
I know for sure for the hospital, when it comes to our plant items, like our salads and some of our vegetables that we serve to our patients, they're actually grown locally.
Locally,
Yeah.
good.
Yes. So, but one of the major challenges that we have found within the territory is being able to keep that supply going, for especially if it's an organization that has a particular menu that's a cycled menu, that these farmers may have the challenge of growing that crop consistently based on season.
So that's what we're gonna do here. It's like a therapy. We got like petting, planting, crochet, different kind of therapy that wherever they choose and what we grow, we have in the yard. I tried to go to agriculture because they had that program and they turned me down. They never even tell me why, but I didn't qualify for the program.
I heard that they're supposed to be doing a new program now. You're talking about the backyard farmer,
Yes.
right? Yeah, they're supposed to be starting a new program, but I haven't seen any advertisement yet.
But the thing is, I understand they got the rules and regulations, and they never. I emailed the person that told me that I wasn't qualified, and I say, well, I understand that, but tell me what can I do to be able to qualify?
Yeah.
No response.
Yeah.
I'm gonna still put it out there. Somebody from agriculture.
Yeah, but it's really important, growing things locally. And there are a lot of things that we can grow here. If you go to like the farmers market on Saturdays, you'll
Yes.
realize that there are a lot of things we can actually grow here on our own instead of, buying it in the stores.
Of course. So again, thank you very much. I hope you'll be able to come and help us. If you can't do it together, but y'all could come one at a time, but you could coordinate. From what I see, you all are a team anyway. So
Yeah, of course.
big up to Juan
right?
Louis Hospital. Huh?
He said we've been a team from the time we were young.
Yes, for real. But I want to big up Juan Louis Hospital for having a fantastic team, have young people involved and working, and what I'm saying that because we got a lot of retirees come back, where we need room for our young people to move it forward to a different level. Thank you for watching. I'm sorry that we had to go ahead without Adansky, because that's my boy. Well, I know if he could have made it, he would have been here. Get stuck at work. Thank you for watching, and have a good evening.
New Attitude Television Show, Inc. is a registered nonprofit organization in the U.S. Virgin Islands with a mission to provide aid and support for registered clients experiencing life challenges during a medical crisis and the recovery process. We are in the process of acquiring our 501c3 status. Our facility provides a safe and comfortable environment with a variety of activities to keep our clients stimulated and engaged. Registered clients, caregivers, family, and business owners will receive first preference from our available services at our facility. To schedule an appointment, call 340-773-6464 or 340-643-1583. Proof of COVID vaccination mandatory. Log on to newattitudetv.com for more details.